Two things are going to happen to you at the beginning of this week, my gorgeous Libra, that are going to motivate you like never before. Number one, someone is really going to surprise you. Somebody so dear to you, somebody so important to you, somebody who means to you so much is really going to surprise you in such a way where you're going to realize the fact that you are going to reconnect and you're going to see that person very soon, because this is someone who you haven't seen in a while, or someone who you don't see that often, and you are going to feel so happy and so pleased because you are going to see someone who you haven't seen in absolute ages. And number two is like you are going to come across this situation at the beginning of this week. You are going to be looking at someone, you are going to be watching someone, and you are going to be thinking about their personal situation, and you are going to be thinking about that very thing that they were talking about, that very thing that they were pointing out. What that person is going to be talking about is something what they achieved, and also when it comes to their life, when it comes to their quality of life, when it comes to the way they live their life. You are going to be able to connect to what that person was saying so much, and some kind of a secret formula, sacred formula, it's going to become obvious to you, not at that moment in time, but exactly 2 or 3 days later. You are going to wake up one morning and suddenly you're going to realize so much how much you want to make certain steps and how much you want to change your life. So this is all going to be building to that moment in time where you are, through the power of spirituality, going to come across this person who are you going to feel such a powerful connection to, what they were doing, what they were planning, what they were focusing on, what they achieved in life, and most importantly, something is going to inspire you to the point when it comes to their lifestyle that you are just not going to be able to stop thinking about it whatsoever. But it is going to take 2 or 3 days after that moment in time for you to process the certain things and process certain informations. And why does it happen like in the morning? Why does it need to happen in the morning, first thing in the morning? Is because every single night that we dream, I said this so many times, we also have astral projections every single night. Every single night we dream, and every single night we have astral projections. But yes, of course, we don't remember. We tap into like so many different dimensions. We become so wise. It's like, oh my God, it's the time when we detach ourselves from our physical body and we become fully spiritual. And these moments are like crucial when it comes to our independence, when it comes to our life, when it comes to the way we see things in life in our own unique way. It helps you to shake things off that are not meant to be within you, and it helps you to kind of become more magnetic towards those things that are pretty much so destined to you, that are with things that are really pretty much so to do with your life purpose, with your spiritual purpose. So this is why these things are happening to us like the very first thing in the morning, because while we are sleeping, we tap into all sorts of dimensions, my gorgeous Libra, that are pretty much so bringing out the best in you in terms of wiseness and in terms of direction and redirection you should take when it comes to having the maximum happiness on this spiritual journey. And it's also going to be triggered within you so much, some kind of a sense of urgency, to work on a certain project that you haven't given enough like energy to. So it's to do with an aspect of your life that means to you so much, something that you've been working on. Maybe you're a singer and then you were like singing, do you know what I mean, for example, and then that means to you so much, you were singing all your life, for example, and then suddenly, you had to deal with so many things, and then you had to leave this like in the past. But this is a very strong part of you where you're gonna realize how much this actually means to you, and this is gonna reconnect you with yourself yet again when it comes to you realizing the importance of putting more energy towards some kind of project. So maybe you're a singer singer, and maybe you're gonna need to sing more, for example. Do you know what I mean? Maybe you're a painter and maybe you didn't paint in a while now, so now you're gonna realize you need to return to it. You need to return to it, because this in itself, it's also part of this call, and it's part of absolutely everything, my gorgeous Libra, indeed. So this is like going to all leads towards you making such a big move, and this in itself, it's gonna be absolutely magnificent in so many different ways, my gorgeous Libra, indeed. And also at the beginning of this weekend, what you need to understand is that you are gonna have a bit of like a kind of you are gonna feel like, you know, going back to the beginning of this week, okay, you're gonna feel like also there is gonna be, after that moment in time, of course, after that moment in time, at the beginning of this week, you are naturally going into like kind of like a hermit mode. You are gonna feel after that moment in time, after everything what I mentioned so far, after everything I said so far, I really hope that this is not too confusing, my gorgeous Libra, and I'm really sorry if you don't understand this. Is the way I speak, is the way I talk. It's really fast because I do process so much, you know, in terms of like messages and things like that. So I sometimes I do talk really fast, and I do jump from one thing to another, but I can't really help it because, you know, this is going to be important week, and I just need you to understand that it's pretty much so. If you feel so strongly about something, if you feel so passionate about something, you need to understand that you need to act rather than wait, because by acting and rather than waiting, at the same time you are already breaking through, but at the same time you are going to transform like those thoughts that were making you feel really negative, because you kind of get into the dangerous stage of this dimension where you kind of like maybe are thinking too much, and instead of acting, for example, instead of being spontaneous, you know. And sometimes I know it does require a great deal of bravery to do something spontaneously, especially the time when you're not too sure what the outcome is going to be, and it depends what's going on in your life. But the bottom line is that you fall into this dimension of like being indecisive with things that you should never be indecisive about. So this is why I say that you should act rather than wait, and by acting rather than waiting, you are going to transform worrisome thoughts, my gorgeous Libra. And this is something I wanted to say to you. But going back to what I said before, that you are going to have a bit of a hermit mode after this, naturally, because, you know, on one hand you will feel like, you know what, something is coming, something really big is coming, something really big is about to happen, something really huge is about to happen, some kind of massive change is about to happen. You're very spiritual, you're very deep, you're very psychic, so you are going to be feeling this. You're not going to be able to tell where this is coming from, but you will know, like, you know, like a couple of things that happened already at the beginning of this week has brought you to this moment in your life, but you are going to be taken back by how big this actual hermit mode it's actually going to be. You know, when I said hermit mode, you're going to feel like you want to be by yourself for a day or two, maybe half a day, maybe 15 hours, maybe whatever, you know. You're just going to feel like you want to be by yourself, but not as such. You're going to feel like in such a way where you will want to, like, maybe suddenly you're going to feel an urge to meditate. That's how it's going to come to you. Or suddenly you're going to feel an urge to visit the forest, or you're going to feel an urge to do something that you normally do in terms of the actual meditation, or maybe you're going to feel like you want to pray a little bit, or whatever you're going to feel. This is how this hermit mode is going to come to you. It's not going to feel like, oh, I want to be by myself. Well, I said sorry. It's more going to come in form of you being drawn to do something like spiritual, like that. And this is so important, because when that hermit mode comes and happens, you know, there is an insight that you are going to have. There is an insight that you're going to have. You do not need to think about anything intensively whatsoever. You do not even need to ask a question. You know, you just basically just do what your soul is asking you to do, what your spirit is requiring you to do. And there is this realization that you're going to have. And this realization that you're going to have, it's going to make you feel so good, because you will know what it needs to go. You will know that something is creating such a terrible, vile, horrible, dark and negative restriction. It's about that restriction, my gorgeous Libra. It is still that restriction that you're going to become aware of. And you will know that if you don't work on this restriction, you will not be able to move on the left, you will not be able to move on the right, you will not be able to move up, you will not be able to move down, okay? So this restriction is keeping you in this stationary position, and you have to break through, baby. You have to break through this shell, and you're going to realize, and already by realizing this, my gorgeous Libra, you're already halfway there. Let alone the fact that only after one day after that moment in time, just one day after that moment in time, you are going to have such a good news. Such a good news. Something like this news that you're going to have, this is going to mean to you so much, like a massive smile on your face, because this good news is on one hand going to surprise you, but on another hand, this good news, it's like, oh my God, I know it's going to sound like, oh, here we go again, but it's almost like you will know that there's some kind of a dream, it's going to come true. You will know that there's some kind of a dream, it's going to come true, my gorgeous Libra. But first of all, when you have this news, just one day after that, good news, you see, one thing is going to be happening after another. So as soon as you have this good news, you will know like what is a good investment and what is a bad investment, what you should do and what you shouldn't do, because it's a lot to do with the experience that you will gather as well when it comes to you being waiting for this news. There is so much you're going to realize, but most importantly, you will know what to do and what not to do, where to invest to and what, most importantly, not to invest to. This is the time when one phase of your life is coming to an end, but another phase of your life it's about to begin. So you are naturally going to be you're going to really be facing after this moment in time like the biggest project of your entire life, the biggest project of your entire spiritual journey. And when I say the biggest project, this is to do with your life, and it's to do with your lifestyle, and it's to do with you having absolutely enough of the certain things that have been making you so unhappy on daily basis, like for so long. You need to make changes, you need to create changes, and you are going to feel so passionate about. So that's what I'm saying, it's the biggest project of your life, because what you're going to be facing is just like everything is going to start disappearing around you, like kind of everything is going to start becoming insignificant until you become aware of the fact what a colorful life and how colorful life your life is actually going to become. These things are going to be calling you, my gorgeous Libra, to change your life, to transform your life. So this is naturally going to put you in this kind of contemplation mode, which is even further gonna kind of work for you when it comes to visualization, of things, when it comes to your visions, and things like that. So this contemplation, it's important, because this contemplation that you're gonna find yourself thinking about, it's important to step back and see what do you feel most drawn towards to, because that contemplation, there are going to be 2 or 3 different things on your mind, 2 or 3 different paths to take, but you have to step back and see which path is the most significant to you, which path is calling you the most. And you will see, I can assure you that it's going to be the one which seems like the most difficult, the one that seems like the longest one, and you are going to be able to recognize this and become so determined, because you will know exactly where the biggest potential is, and where the biggest potential is, that in itself is going to require from you to understand it's going to take the longest, but it's going to take half longest than what you think that it's actually going to be. This in itself is going to be a really, really wise choice you are going to be making, which is going to bring an instant confidence and strength into your life, my gorgeous Libra. Indeed, this is like, oh my God, so important. And again and again and again, you need to pay attention going to also, at around the first part of the week, there is a specific part of your body. Listen to me very carefully. There is a specific part of your body that is going to be screaming for your attention. This specific part of your body you must not ignore whatsoever. It's to do with a very powerful vibration and energy when it comes to the mind, body and spirit. So it is going to be the certain part of your body. Maybe your stomach is going to be hurting and feeling really uncomfortable. That means that you need to change your diet. But then again, you need to go with that initial feeling through your own intuition what this is, because mind, body and spirit, the connection in between these three is going to be very elevated. So it's just really uniquely going to come from you. So maybe, for example, I'm just giving examples. If your stomach hurts a little bit, then maybe you need to drink more water, and maybe you need to kind of like also kind of change your diet, you know. If your leg is hurting, then you need to do something about it, you know. But you acknowledging this, you're already like kind of starting the process of healing. Sometimes people don't understand. I'm not saying that you don't understand, but sometimes people don't understand that we do have such an immense power within. We do have an immense power within that allows us to actually heal ourselves. Okay, you just need to believe in this. Okay, you just need to believe in this. You don't need this, you don't need that, you don't need this, you don't need that. No, baby, no. It's all here. It's all in your mind, and it's all about you working out how you're actually gonna do this, how you're gonna release this energy and heal yourself. And the great way to do this is just to acknowledge at the beginning of this week what your body is trying to tell you, because at the same time you're going to have this opportunity to actually heal yourself as well at that moment in time. Absolutely remarkable and absolutely brilliant, my gorgeous Libra, indeed. And also, when it comes to the beginning of this week, somebody who you know, it's really you're going to hear something about somebody who you know, somebody like from a long time ago, from your past, somebody from a long time ago, somebody from your past, somebody who you know, but you haven't seen this person or you haven't heard about this person for a while. You are going to hear something about that specific person from a long time ago, and you're going to be like, I can't believe I've heard about this person. But what you're going to hear about that person is going to shock you. It's really going to shock you, and it's going to surprise you. It's something that they have done, something really stupid and something really silly. But first of all, it's going to shock you and it's going to surprise you. But then at the same time, you know, it is going to sadly for that person, but good for you, it's just going to really kind of show you exactly what not to do, because this is something that you wanted to do like a while back, what that person has done, and now everything is going like boom, 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 pear-shaped, like boom, boom, boom. Do you know what I mean? Something is going crazy in that person's lives because they did some kind of mistake. They took the path that they shouldn't have. And you were thinking about doing this. You were thinking about taking that path. So you should be grateful to God that you actually didn't take this path. It's brilliant, but there is a reason why this is actually happening, all of this, because you need to understand, you need to read in between the lines. There is a very, very special message and realization that you are going to have out of all that. Not only what you shouldn't be doing, but there is some other really important message that you're actually going to have there. Like somehow you're going to understand how long is something else going to take as well, which is going to be crucial for you at this moment in time to actually know. By the time you get to the mid part of this week, my gorgeous Libra, 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 I'm sorry, my gorgeous Libra, just make sure you raise your gorgeous vibrations indeed. The midweek, you know, it's like, oh my God, you know, you're gonna find out something, you're gonna become aware of something. What you're gonna become fully aware of, it's like a really, it's just so much to do with the certain informations this week, my gorgeous Libra. Like certain informations, realizations that are just going to open your eyes. But it's wonderful because it's happening at a time when you really kind of would not expect this whatsoever. And this is why everything is going to happen so naturally, so wonderfully, so organically, because you will respond to the situations spontaneously that you did not plan, you did not think about it. And this is when life becomes so magical. You know, you understand so much about yourself, you understand so much about what you want, and so this what you're going to become fully aware of at around the mid-week. It's just really kind of first of all, it's a lot to do with an accomplishment. First of all, you're going to have an accomplishment, and this is going to mean to you so much. This accomplishment that you're going to have at around the midweek, this is very, very personal. This is nothing like giant, like life-changing. It is actually life-changing, but it's not going to seem like that way, but it's going to mean to you so much. It's more about an accomplishment, a very, very personal accomplishment, which is going to prove some kind of a personal point to yourself. But you're also going to become fully aware of, how much do you want to do something with your future. For example, how much do you want to kind of make a certain adjustment, how much you want to make a certain edit when it comes to your life. This is the moment in time where you're going to realize this is the moment in time where you are actually choosing to be creative. By choosing to be creative, you are choosing to empower yourself. By choosing to empower yourself, you are really kind of also at the same time you're practicing that powerful visualization again. So this is absolutely remarkable when it comes to your intuition. You're going to realize why you're so different, and you're going to realize why you're so special, and these feelings and emotions are going to play absolutely magical role when it comes to you really facing the stage of your life that happens completely kind of unexpectedly, but it requires from you to act. Just remember, it's act rather than wait, my gorgeous Libra, because at the same time you're coming out of your comfort zone, and this is needed at this stage of your life. So this is what you're going to become fully aware of at around the midweek, my gorgeous Libra. What you're going to become fully aware of, it's really kind of going to open your eyes to watch how much you want to change your life, how much you're going to be thinking a lot about your future, how you're going to be thinking how much happier you're going to be. And this is all going to boil down towards you having this idea. This idea, it's like pretty much so to do with like how you're going to make an adjustment in your life, but this adjustment is going to make you feel so much happier when it comes to personal things, but also when it comes to money, and when it comes to finances, when it comes to you saving money. This is like it's an amazing kind of thing that you are doing, because at the same time it's about you feeling so happy with yourself, and I'm not gonna lie to you, there is a challenge that you're gonna be facing here. Of course that you're gonna be facing a challenge, because you will know that now you're gonna need to move on from certain things. You are gonna find yourself on the spiritual quest yet again, and you're gonna understand that you're not gonna be able to do nothing unless you understand that there is something very, very drastic that you need to do. You need to make a drastic step, a drastic move. This drastic move and drastic step, it's not required from you to do right now, because this is going to be big. This is only going to happen in a few months time, but it's all about you coming to terms with the fact that your life, it's not going to change unless you make this necessary step. And this in itself, it's going to require careful planning and also moving on with your lives. Normally you would find this so challenging, and it would even put you off, challenging, defensive, no baby, no. But now your spirit is going to be rising, and once your spirit becomes so excited, it just becomes completely undestroyable. It becomes so powerful that it takes over our lives, it takes over our subconscious mind. So therefore we really benefit from this sacred guidance, and that means that after this moment in time, you're gonna become so quickly aware of what's attracting you. Like when it comes to things that you're so passionate about, now you're gonna surprise yourself after this moment in time how you're gonna put this as a priority number one, and how much more time you're going to be spending longer on those things that you feel so passionate about. And that's exactly, my gorgeous Libra, this is exactly the way to go for you indeed. Okay, it's like, oh my God. And by the time you get to the last part of this week, my gorgeous Libra, there is going to be like an unexpected situation here that is going to blow you away a little bit. This is going to surprise you. Yes, my gorgeous Libra, Libra, there is going to be the actual tower that you are going to have at the end of the week, and you're not going to like this. This is really going to surprise you here. This tower, it's really going to show the faces of certain people who are really going to kind of on one hand surprise you, but then on another hand you knew that this was kind of coming, but at the same time, you know, as soon as you become aware of this tower, so the something negative is going to happen. It's going to throw you out of balance. It's really going to surprise you, but this is not something that is going to affect you so much because you kind of saw this coming, you felt this coming, and this is also needed in your life. Right now it couldn't have been perfect time for this to happen, because that in itself, it's going, that tower, that unexpected situation, you know, it's going to be good for you, because again, you will know who you can turn to, who you will not, who you can turn away from, who you can trust to, who you cannot trust to. But most importantly, it's going to slowly but surely redirect you, because after that moment in time, you are going to find yourself in like kind of being really, really indecisive. And then when you find yourself being indecisive, you are going to really kind of like realize that you need to examine some kind of unfinished business. And when you find yourself like realizing that you need to examine some kind of unfinished business, now suddenly you're also going to realize how you have been ignoring someone that you shouldn't have been ignoring. And it's not a bad thing, it's not a horrible thing, it's just because, you know, sometimes people drift apart, people drift away from one another because certain people have like a certain spiritual roles to fulfill by themselves, and then they return to each other. This could be friends, this could be family members, it doesn't really matter, but suddenly you're gonna understand and you're gonna realize someone that you have been ignoring, you know, as well. And as soon as you do this, you know, as soon as you realize who maybe you have been ignoring a little bit, but that person is really beautiful, that person is really gorgeous, that person is very, very special indeed, and there is something really remarkable that is actually going to happen at that moment in time, because as soon as you become aware of that particular person who you have been ignoring, through that particular person, you're also going to kind of realize now suddenly what exactly do you need to do. It's like about the conclusion to this like kind of indecisive situation. You will have a really important conclusion here because of that person, because somehow through that person you will understand what exactly do you need to do. You need to stick to something traditional rather than going completely crazy. By being traditional, you're also at the same time going to play safe, and also by being traditional, you're also going to spiritually return yourself to yourself. What you're doing right now, my gorgeous Libra, you're returning home to yourself. And it's like also you had many sleepless nights. You've been depressed, you've been sad, you've been negative, only because like certain things haven't been happening in your life, and you have found yourself maybe being stuck somewhere where you don't want to be stuck for too long anymore. And that in itself, it's already a progress by itself, basically, you see. So it's to do with like an ongoing problem that made you feel depressed, made you feel negative, made you feel sad, made you feel down. And every time before you would go to sleep, you would be thinking about the specific problem, you know, and that particular problem was caused because of that tower. You know, that tower that I say, that situation which is going to blow you away. You see, this is actually brilliant, because this is like really to do with the bad and really negative and unhealthy and unhappy attachment. So you see, the things are going to be shaky, but it's going to like really work in your favor. And only later you're going to become aware of the fact that you're actually really glad that this tower negative situation, surprising situation happened, because it's to do with you just not even knowing how to kind of deal with a specific situation that you've been going through so long. You got used to it, you know, instead of like kind of doing something about it. So this is really nicely going to show you the way how to move away from, you know, and walk away from things that have been kind of draining your energy and making you feel dark anyway, because it's to do with an aspect of your life that came to an end. So only later you're going to realize that that tower situation, that specific situation, because of what that tower happens, happened was actually really making you feel really negative and sad and depressed anyway. Do you understand what I mean? I really hope that this is not too confusing, and this in itself was preventing you to kind of having an ultimate change in your life. And sometimes people tell me, oh, it's a tower, it's not good. No, baby, no. Sometimes tower is really, really good. Sometimes it brings the situation into our lives that shows us back, shows us out of balance, but we need this in order to become the part of this energy and vibration and dimension where we see things clearly that we don't want to see, but we also see exactly the solution to our problems, and we start seeing the bigger picture of other things that have taken the wrong turn because we didn't act on certain things in the past. So this is going to bring you a really nice and wonderful adjustment into your life, my gorgeous Libra, indeed. Okay, my gorgeous Libra, thank you ever so much for watching my videos. I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light to every single one of you. Sasha Bonasin, psychic medium. Love you. Bye.